A dream come true. It's time. I stand garbed in the purest white, awaiting the arrival of my groom. He comes to me step by measured step. I had Volcanon conduct the ceremony. He mopped the sweat from his brow, doing his best to manage it all. I heard, "Do you vow to love and honor, to comfort and console?" But my nerves drowned out the rest. "To cherish for all time?" The final line rang in my ears, snapping me back to myself. I do. I desperately squeezed the words out. While one side of me panicked, another calmly wondered what I was doing. I know, this must be a dream. How fanciful it all was. Me, a dragon, getting married? Once more, Volcanon's voice shook me from my thoughts. "You may now kiss the bride." I am about to wake, aren't I? One always wakes right before the best parts. Dream or no, it's been an age since I felt such joy. I prepared myself for the fantasy to end, ready for the sweet reverie to fade to memory. But it didn't. This is a most lengthy dream. Oh well, much has happened of late. I was tired. I must be sleeping deeply. As that thought went through my mind, my new consort took my hand. "Are you okay?" "I'm well. This is but a dream after all. Waking won't be too terrible a shock." "Well, perhaps maybe a little. Thinking on it now, I should like to banish this dream entirely once I wake." What a coward I've become. Weary, I eased myself into a nearby chair. I'd spent the entire day in human form wearing heels after all. Removing them, I noticed my ankles were swollen. Oh, this is going to be quite painful. My consort looked at me in concern, but I smiled and shook my head. Ow! As the ceremony wore on, I could bear it no longer, and he caught sight of my poor feet. My toes were in a terrible state. He was instantly by my side. He needn't have gotten that upset, though. It was only a dream, after all. I could push myself a little. Looking into his worried eyes, a sudden realization struck me. Wait, it hurts. It hurts and I haven't woken. This isn't a dream? Woohoo! I really am a newlywed! A little late, I finally allowed this dreamlike reality to sink in. And so, we began our life together as a small but happy family. Before long, we were blessed with children. They're so cute, but I expect nothing less of my offspring. To be honest, I never imagined myself married, much less a mother. I looked down upon them, gently stroking their tiny heads. Though their features were draconic, they had their father's gentle eyes. They were so adorable and precious. While I watched them sleep, he slipped softly to my side. Ah, yes, they had distracted me. There was something very important I meant to tell him today. Might we speak a moment? I have something I must say. I looked my beloved in the eye and began to speak. I have lived many an age. I was here thousands of years ago, and I will still be here thousands of years after you are gone. But right now, I want to spend my life with you, by your side until death do us part. I thank the stars that we met, and thank you for coming here, for choosing me. In all my long life, I have never felt this way before. I love you so much. Words cannot do this feeling justice. Come, our children sleep. Let me show you that love now. Come. Thank you. The end.
Rune Factory 4.
Super.
Come on, let's go.
Good morning. what might have been. So this is Selphia. Now then, I'd best head to the castle. My name is Arthur. Word arrived at the capital requesting an overseer for a certain castle. I was sent. Must the prince himself go? Some voiced this concern, but I would much rather keep such an entertaining duty for myself. Lady Ventuswill herself resides here. Something amusing is sure to happen. Selphia is not ruled by the king, but by the benevolent dragon Ventuswill. Because of that, its relationship with the royal family has been somewhat complicated. The castle gate is certainly impressive. Many of the castle's features are quite sizable, in fact. Perhaps to allow Lady Ventuswill easy passage? In that case, carts should also find it easy to pass through the doors. Very handy. While pondering this, I walked in and was greeted by an elderly butler. Ah, I presume you are the Lord Prince Lady Ventuswill spoke of? He called himself Volcanon. That I am, sir. I requested an audience with Lady Ventuswill and inquired about the state of the castle's affairs. The lady was as kind and gracious as the rumors had said, and even more dignified. The light shining through the ceiling above gave her a radiant, divine even, beauty. I see. With your wings, you can come and go freely without needing the gate. I nodded to myself in satisfaction, having solved the puzzle of Lady Ventuswill's movements. We went through the formalities of my official appointment, and I was shown to my rooms. This way, if you please, Lord Arthur. The rooms were comfortable, equipped with a desk, bed, and other necessities. I requested various records I would need, then sat to look over the documents I had brought. The head butler here is quite competent. So few staff means some things have gone undone. But it is remarkable how much they have accomplished with such small numbers. Here the ruler rules not by fear, but instead through cooperation. It was a far more wonderful system than I had expected. After that day, I worked my hardest to bring further peace and prosperity to Selphia. I think we shall put on a book reading. I sponsored town events and assigned a patrol to the night to keep monsters clear. Little by little, Selphia prospered. If possible, I'd like to hold larger, more profitable events such as festivals and the like. But being decreed by the Prince of Norad turns them into such formal affairs. Both the staff and Lady Ventuswill praised my skill, but I wish I could conduct business more freely, not as the prince, but as myself. At this rate, though the scenery may be changed, life is much as it was back at the capital. I suppose it is nice not to be subjected to the politics of the kingdom all day, though. With that wish ever in the back of my mind, time passed, each day much like the one before, year after year after year. Where am I? Wasn't I in the middle of something? Something tedious, and my mind was still fuzzy, but I forced myself to take stock of the situation. It seemed I had fallen asleep without realizing it. Slowly, I looked around. There was a person very close to me, singing softly. Hearing those gentle words filled me with a curious nostalgia. A moment later, the person smiled down at me and began stroking my hair. It was seeming more and more obvious that I'd fallen asleep, and fallen asleep somewhere far more comfortable than even the softest bed. Apparently, my pillow was a person. Ah, now I remember. I was on the lap of the one mistaken for royalty, who was now ruling in my stead. Though, if I recall, the message had said prince, not princess. How they mistook that, I'll never understand. It had all seemed terribly haphazard at first, but now I enjoyed that relaxed approach. I moved just enough to look up at the face of my beloved. Realizing I was awake, she startled and exclaimed, "It's not what you think! You were moaning in your sleep," she continued, her face a bright cherry red. "I didn't do anything." The way she told it had been so loud she'd heard me from out in the hall. I see. That must have been the dream. I was dreaming. What kind of dream? She asked. Of a future, I told her. One that could have easily come to pass. Ah, she said, and tenderly took my hand in hers. Goodness, what she does without thinking. With that simple act, all my worries faded, like the dream. You are incredible. She looked at me in confusion. We were talking about your dream, she said, but I cut her off with a quiet, I love you. She pursed her lips into a pout, complaining that I was trying to distract her. And it was a distraction, I admit that. But I also wanted her to know my feelings. I mean it. I can no longer even conceive of a world without you in it. And with that, I laid my head back down upon her lap. Might I stay this way? Just a little longer? She huffed, but did not make me move. Ah, my beloved, expressing the depths of my feelings for you may be more tricky than any political deal. The end.
Rune Factory 4. Come on, let's go.
Becoming a different me. I was really looking forward to our date today. Normally I'd wear my armor, but this time I chose something a little more ladylike. Several people told me I should dress up for dates, so I caved and bought a new outfit. I hope he likes it. Right on time, I saw his approach. I hope you didn't wait long, he said. I assured him I had just arrived. He studied me for a long moment. Did I look so strange that he was at a loss for words? I didn't know how to react to his silence.
You wore it after all. Thanks. It, looks really nice.
Hearing him say that made me feel so much better. Phew! I had no idea what I would have done if he said I'd look funny. He took me by the hand and said, "Let's go." I let him lead the way. Normally I wouldn't notice, but today I couldn't help it. I felt eyes on us everywhere. It surely couldn't be because of the dress. That would be too conceited of me. How embarrassing. I was truly regretting the absence of my helmet today. Who knew it would take such courage to walk about town in a sundress? We had lunch and chatted, but I couldn't recall any of it later. Goodness, it's too much. I can't take it anymore. Wait here a moment, please. I hurried back home. Walking in, I saw Keel. Forte, is something wrong? He asked. It was nothing really, but I couldn't take it anymore. I dashed to my room. What was I doing? I was supposed to be on a date. But the stairs bothered me. The flimsy dress bothered me. I couldn't concentrate. I was keeping him waiting. I had to go back. Right then, I heard a soft knock at my door. Keel? I opened it and saw not my brother, but him. He stood there, breathless. I liked the dress, he said, but you don't have to force yourself. I told him that I did want to wear it, but my voice quivered. Why don't you change, and then we'll go back out, he said. Okay. He stepped out, and I stepped into my usual garb. Armor on, I was ready to go. I rushed outside looking for him. There. I walked up and asked if he had waited long. He smiled and said no. He'd just arrived. Really? It sounded like a reversal of that morning. A moment later, I realized this was his way of saying we could start again. Let's go, he said, taking me by the hand.
See, I like your normal outfit a lot, too.
In my armor, I felt I could do better this time. I leaned closer and put my arm through his. I like this better. We had to redo our date, but this time, I knew I'd enjoy it more. I'm sorry, and thank you. Someday, when I've had more practice, I will wear that dress again. Please look forward to it. I love you. The end.